Hello custom card fans, my name is Aurora and here is a feature match from the last ladder season. This is between Orc and Spaghetti, so this is top of the ladder. This is, I think, just the top. This is just top two places. And it's going to be a match between Orc, who is on, I think, Tearlaments, so should be familiar with what that does. And Spaghetti, who's playing, what's Spaghetti playing again? Is it Iffrean? I'm checking Discord. Iffrean. No, that's the wrong match. It is Iffrean. Okay. I can't read. Okay, so if you haven't seen Iffrean before, it's basically Blaster, Dragon Ruler of Infernos, the archetype. They're all about level 7 fire dragon monsters, and they're very spammy, they're very summony, they love banishing cards. It's a really strong deck that revolves around this very strong card. Whereas Tearlaments is, well, it's Tearlaments. So let's take a look at this, let's take a look at this game then, eh? We're going to go Sacred Sword of the 7 Stars, banishing Blaster, Dragon Ruler of Infernos in order to draw 2 cards. Then we're going to trigger the effect of Blaster, Dragon Ruler of Infernos to rotor for any fire dragon monster. The card we're going to be picking up here is going to be Iffrean Initiator, which is on summon a Foolish Burial. We're going to normal summon it and Foolish Burial any Iffrean monster from the deck to the graveyard, and it's going to be Iffrean Igneous, Iffrean Emancipator. And this card, if it's banished, will allow you to add any Iffrean from the deck to the hand. We're then going to trigger Nexus. Since we control an Iffrean monster, we can special summon it from the hand. And we do have an effect in the graveyard to banish another fire dragon from the graveyard to special summon it, which means we will be able to trigger this Emancipator from the graveyard. We're then going to link together the Nexus and the Initiator in order to summon the big link 2 of the archetype, Iffrean Connector. This is a very important monster just because it has the ability on link summon to banish an Iffrean from the deck, and all dragon monsters it points to can be treated as level 7 for the summon of an Iffrean monster, and Iffrean Ravager is a very strong card. So with Connector, we're going to be banishing from the deck here an Ignis Magnus, Iffrean Conqueror. One thing I do love about Iffreans is like the little bit of Latin at the beginning of their names. Ignis Magnus, Great Fire. I love that. It's so fun. When this card's banished, we can add it to the hand, so that's immediately what we're going to do with Conqueror. So it's going to come straight to the hand, and then we're going to trigger the effect in the graveyard of the Iffrean Nexus, banishing the Emancipator from the graveyard in order to special summon back the Nexus to the zone that the connector points to, so that it can be treated as a level 7. We're then going to trigger the effect of the banished Emancipator, and search from our deck to our hand an Iffrean monster, of which we're going to pick up an Lex Incendio, Iffrean Adjudicator. That means Law of Fire. Oh, I love these names. I love these names. Which allows you to discard it in order to add to your hand any banished Iffrean monster. Unlike Magnus, which will allow us to special summon any banished Iffrean monster. We're then going to activate Ardenti Incursio, Iffrean Devastator. I've forgotten what this one means because it's been a while since I looked them up. This will allow us to discard it to special summon an Iffrean monster in our graveyard. So we are going to special summon. Yeah, we're going to special summon back this Initiator. Then we're going to link 4 for an Appaloosa, I presume. Yep, 3-math Appaloosa. And then we are going to... Oh, does this banish itself when it leaves the field? Yeah, okay. Then we're going to activate our one-of Gold Sarcophagus. That's a pretty strong card. We're going to banish from the deck the Lex Incendio. When banished, it can special summon itself. That seems pretty good to me. We're then going to trigger the effect in the hand. Oh no, we're going to go Initiator in the graveyard. What's the Initiator do in the grave? Banish the card and one other fire dragon from the graveyard in order to special summon an Iffrean from the hand. That seems pretty good. Is that a hard one? No, it's not. I just saw a 1 and I thought it might be in a hard one once per turn. So we're going to banish it and the other one from the graveyard in order to special summon from the hand, probably this Iffrean Conqueror. Yup, out it comes. And then we're going to trigger the effect of the Ardenti Incursio, Iffrean Devastator, allowing us to send an Iffrean monster from the deck to the graveyard. And this is going to be another level 7 Igneous Iffrean Emancipator. This is important because we're now going to overlay these two in order to summon Iffrean Ravager. This is a card that exists. Basically, if it's on the field destroyed by battle or card effect, you can special summon up to 4 level 7 Iffreans with different names. One that's banished, one in your hand, one from your deck, and one from your graveyard in defense position. And that's a really good effect. Unfortunately, I believe this used to be the effect on summon of Ravager. So, I don't know what this does anymore. Oh, no, of course, yeah, if this card succeeds summoned, you can destroy it. So that's immediately what we're going to do. We're going to pop Ravager and then trigger Ravager's effect and summon 4. Here we go, baby! Out comes Ardentian Curcio Iffrean Devastator from the Banished Zone, and the Lex Incendio Iffrean Adjudicator from the hand, and from the graveyard, the Ignis Magnus Iffrean Conqueror, and from the deck, we are going to be grabbing another Igneous Salus Iffrean Emancipator. I think that's all of them in rotation now, so that's pretty fun. We're then going to overlay these two and summon a Red Eyes Obsidian Darkness Dragon. We're going to trigger the Darkness Dragon here, I presume, detaching 1 material in order to add from the deck to the hand Red Eyes, or set from the deck the Red Eyes Fang with Chains. So that's 1 interruption there. And then we're going to overlay the other 2 level 7s, and we're going to summon something very interesting. It's number 192 Subspace Phantasm Dragon. This is just a strong card. It's basically rank 7 DP. We're then going to set 2, and we're going to pass it back over to Orc. That orange light did not come down at any point over the course of this turn, so very interesting considering we have the Agido. Let's see what Orc is going to do against this board. Scoop. That makes sense, you know. I don't think I really don't think Tearlaments with like double Shiren in hand can play through Appaloosa very well. This also then does have a strategic advantage for Orcs, because it means that Spaghetti can't counter side. Like, Spaghetti has no idea what Orc is playing, therefore he can't decide what to side in to win the matchup. Orcs is going to start off by activating Tearlaments Scream, and then normal summoning Merly. Merly's effect is going to trigger, chaining to it is going to be the Tearlaments Scream. Sending from the top 3, we are going to see a Primeval Planet Perlarino, Crime, and a Mudora, so none of those really do much. And then we're going to mill the 3 off of the Merly, and again, nothing really. We've got Suliek and Keldo, so I guess we can trigger both the Suliek and the Crime, but the Crime has to target a banished monster, which means it does nothing. It's just the Suliek that's actually a good hit here. Suliek's effect is going to activate. I'm assuming we're going to be searching for Shiren here. Yep, we're going to pick up a Shiren, and then we're going to special summon the Shiren by using its effect. Pitching from the hand to the graveyard, probably this Medora. Yep. We're going to summon the Shiren, we're going to mill the top 3, and there's a Merly. That should be enough to win. That should be enough to do the game. Or to do the turn, at least. Scream's effect can also activate in the graveyard to add a trap from the deck to the hand. And this Tearlaments variant, because we do have hits to kick Carlos and Rhino Heart, is generally rather more trap focused. So we are playing more than one copy of Suliek, more than one copy of Crime, in order to make sure we do actually have extra interruption pieces. Also considering we only have 1 each of Agido and Kelbeck. However, this deck might need some more hits in the future. You never know. So we're going to fuse these 2 and summon the Tearlaments Shireloss, which is the Kit Carlos retrain. When it's fusion summoned, we can take a spell and trap and either add it to hand or send it to the graveyard. This card is very strong. I always caution against Tearlaments Kit Carlos retrains, and this one, you know, it seemed like the lesser of evils, because people wouldn't stop submitting them. So Shireloss is going to trigger Chainlink 1, and Chainlink 2 is going to be Mudora, shuffling back the Crime, the Planet, and the Suliek, so that we have all of that extra material in the graveyard, and we're going to be able to search here for the Crime that we just shuffled back. Presumably, we're only playing the 1. We then go to set 3 and pass the turn. Oh no, that is... Oh, I don't like this. Main 1 for Iffrean, we're going to normal summon an Iffrean Initiator. Iffrean Initiator's effect is going to activate to send an Iffrean monster from the deck to the graveyard, and that's going to then get That's then going to trigger the Tearlaments Scream, which is going to then be able to mill the top 3 cards of the deck and drop all monsters of Spaghettis for the rest of the turn by 500. That is such a whiff. Oh my goodness. Double D barrier nib. Oh my goodness. I don't even know why you're siding in D barrier here. Like, Xyz isn't the end-all be-all of Iffrean. Like, they can just link spam. We are going to be sending from the deck to the graveyard the Igneous Salus in Iffrean Emancipator, and then trigger the effect in the hand of Iffrean Nexus. Since we control an Iffrean monster, we can special summon it from the hand. Then we're going to link together the two to summon the Iffrean Connector. We're then going to trigger the Connector's effect to banish from the deck, which is then going to get met with a Tearlaments Suliek. This is going to negate the effect of the Connector and send the Merly to the graveyard. We're then going to trigger the effect of the Merly in the graveyard in order to fusion summon. I love Tearlaments. We're going to chain Keldo and shuffle back Spaghetti's entire graveyard. Oh, and that's probably just the end of... yeah, that's, I think, just... Oh, no, we do have Igneous Salus in hand, so maybe there is a chance. These are all going to get shuffled back into the deck. The Connector is going to be... has now been banished. Merly is going to shuffle itself back with the Nibiru the Primal Being and the Nibiru the Primal Being, 2 light monsters, so that we can then summon... wait, do they need to be different names? No, Mudora, Merly, Nib, yeah. Do they all have to be different names? Yes, they have to be different names for Ideal, Chaotic, Technique, Dragon Caller. This is a card that I immediately saw when I was looking for 3 targets for Tearlaments Fusion Summons. This one's kind of crazy. Once per chain, you can banish a card from your hand or graveyard and apply a following effect. And if it's a monster that you're banishing, you just have a pop. We're going to use this effect, banishing the trap here, to banish the top 3 cards of our opponent's deck face down. Are they anything good? It's a Blaster, a Dark Ruler No More, and a Rivalry of Warlords. Luckily, we have 2 of those in our hand already. Spaghetti's just going to admit defeat there. We're not even going to play around with the Emancipator in our hand. However, luckily, we will be able to be going first this game, and we'll be able to side in specific anti-Tearlaments hate, such as a Pointer of the Red Lotus. Orcs, on the other hand, has opened fucking Winged Dragon of Ra Sphere mode, as well as double Nib. So, I'm actually interested to see how this one turns out. Spaghetti's going to start off by activating Sacred Sword of the 7 Stars, banishing from the hand the Emancipator in order to draw 2 cards. It's going to be an Ash and a Nexus. Nexus should probably get us there. We're then going to trigger the effect of the Emancipator upon being banished to add from the deck to the hand a monster, which is going to be the Initiator. We're then going to normal summon that Initiator and use its effect in order to send from the deck to the graveyard another Iffrean monster, which is going to be the good old friendly Iffrean Devastator Ardenti Incursio. Iffrean Nexus is going to trigger in the hand. Since we control another Iffrean, we're going to special summon it, and then we're going to link the 2 together and summon an Iffrean Connector. We're then going to trigger the effect of the Iffrean Connector in order to banish from the deck the, what are we banishing from the deck? The Iffrean Adjudicator Lex Incendio, which is then going to trigger upon being banished to special summon itself. Unfortunately, we have no way to access Appaloosa Bow of the Goddess without reaching 5 summons here. This is summon number 5 right now as we use Nexus' effect to banish from the graveyard and summon itself. We're then going to trigger the effect of Ardenti Incursio, Iffrean Devastator, and I think that's just the end of the game. That's just the end of the game because this oh no, because we did trigger that, we are going to nib now. That's fine, I guess. We actually do have this big extender in the hand, which is Iffrean Conqueror, and we have this extra token, which is 5526. This token, which is pretty big. Oh, but Rivalry of Warlords is going to absolutely shit on Orcs because they can only control rocks after this. Yeah, Spaghetti doesn't need to do anything. A Pointer of the Red Lotus by paying 2. We're going to be banishing Merly here. And then this allows us to, and then this will reveal our entire hand, which is an Ash and a Magnus. So that's banishing the only Tearlaments name in the hand. And they're just going to normal summon Keldo and beat him for 1200. Like, yeah, that's fine. Spaghetti doesn't give a shit about that, I'd imagine. Merly comes back to hand in the end phase. And, well, we know that Orcs has Nib. But, like, how are we going to play around Nib? That's the question. We're going to trigger the effect in the graveyard of Iffrean Stigmata, banishing 2 in order to draw. Is that what that does? No, that's pretty good. Yeah, you can banish this card and one that defy a dragon from the graveyard, draw a card. That's pretty good. And we've drawn into Blaster, which is such a good draw as well. We're gonna then trigger Lex Incendio, Iffrean Adjudicator, special summoning itself after it's been banished. And then we are going to trigger the effect in the hand of probably Sacred Sword right now, right? We probably go Sacred Sword. Yep, Sacred Sword, banishing Blaster. And we draw 2. And then we go Blaster effect to search for any Fire Dragon out of the deck, which will hopefully be able to get us out of this rather sticky situation. I mean, if we can just stick 4 monsters onto the field, then we'll be able to make a 4-mat Appaloosa. And that should probably be enough to just win the game, right? Especially considering that there's Keldo on the field. Although it does have to, it can banish itself from the field. We do want to keep this Nib on the field, absolutely. We're going to normal summon Iffrean Initiator, and then use the effect of Iffrean Initiator in order to send from the deck to the graveyard an Iffrean monster, which is going to be this one, the Devastator, Ardenti Incursio. We're then going to trigger the effect of the Nexus in hand, special summoning it from our hand in attack position. And then we are going to link to... Oh, why are you doing this? You know he has Nib! You know that there's a Nib in Orc's hand. Come on. Banishing from the deck the Igneous Salus Iffrean Emancipator. And we're going to, fucking hell. Search for a Lex Incendio Iffrean Adjudicator. I mean, we have 3 extenders in hand. We're going to trigger Nexus in the graveyard. And Orcs is going to be forced to Nib here, I think. Which is going to tribute everything on the field to summon another Nib. And a much bigger token this time. This token is pretty swole. And this one can't actually be beaten over. And on res of that is going to be Keldo, which is going to banish itself and shuffle back a bunch of cards from the graveyard, which is going to be both of the Initiators and Lex. So unfortunately, we won't be able to use Initiator's effect in the graveyard this turn, unless we have another way to send it to the graveyard. But I assume we might do. I mean, we have 3 level 7s in hand, like... These cards are pretty strong. We are going to activate Lex Incendio's effect in the hand, discarding itself in order to special summon, or in order to add to the hand a banished Iffrean monster, which is going to be here, Iffrean Nexus. We're then going to trigger in the hand the Iffrean Magnus, or Igneous Magnus Iffrean Conqueror, in order to special summon one of our banished Iffrean monsters. And this one is going to be the Ardenti Incursio. Then I'm assuming we're going to trigger Salus in hand, discarding one other fire from our hand, which is going to be this Nexus. So it's essentially just gotten it out of the banish zone. Special summoning the Emancipator from the hand. Can we can summon 3 here if we go into a Ravager. We're just going to go into a Subspace Phantasm Dragon. I mean, I don't think it's actually all that profitable to get rid of this Nibiru. Well, we are going to beat him for 28, and then end the turn with a Rivalry and a Quick Effect Banish. Orcs is going to draw, and it's going to be an Orange Light. Well, I mean, they're going to activate Tearlaments Merly, and that's going to get met with an Ash Blossom and Joyous Spring, setting the crime now, because we do need to actually have some sort of interruption. But in the end phase, we're going to trigger the Subspace Phantasm Dragon to pop both the back row, getting rid of our own Rivalry, and if this is a good card off the top, we could just be winning the game. Oh my goodness, what a card off the top! There's a Golden Sarcophagus, which is every single card in our deck, thanks to the fact that we do have Blaster Dragon, Ruler of Infernos as a potential banish off of this. We're going to trigger Nexus in the graveyard, banishing another Iffrean from the graveyard to special summon itself, and then we're going to trigger the Emancipator off of being banished in order to search for an Iffrean monster from our deck. We're going to pick up the Initiator, and this could just be the end of the game. This Orange Light is doing nothing, and this Winged Dragon of Ra Severe mode does nothing in the hand. We're going to go Initiator effect in order to send from the deck to the graveyard an a Lex Incendio. We're going to Oh my goodness, this is such a... And then we're just going to go for Gold Sarcophagus, probably banishing the Blaster from the deck so we can get another Omni Search. No, we're going to go for Iffrean Conqueror so that we can just add this card directly to our hand after being banished. So this is basically just a rota for any of our banished cards, since now we can discard it to the graveyard and then add a banished card to our hand. What are we going to be grabbing here? It's going to be... oh no, it's special summon it in defense position. We're going to be special summoning this Iffrean Stigmata. And that's just going to be the end of the game. I think, is that lethal on board? That's lethal on board, right? Yeah. Oh my goodness, what a game. Really seeing why Iffrean is one of the strongest combo decks that EXU has to offer. It just plays through so much. It has, well, okay, it does get stopped by one Nibiru, but it does have the ability to follow up from that Nibiru in certain cases, as we saw in turn 3. Has access to really strong rank 7 toolbox options in terms of Subspace Phantasm Dragon and Red Eyes Obsidian Dragon, which just make the deck incredibly strong, as well as Ravager just being such a brutally powerful card for a deck that it's designed around. That will be all for today's feature match. Buggered that. Let's try that again. That'll be all for today for this week's feature match. Why am I saying this week? We don't do these weekly. That will be all for today's feature match. That's all I need to say. This is what happens when you don't work with a script. That'll be all for today's feature match. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you enjoyed the video. And be sure to hit the notification bell so that you will always be able to see our notifications when we upload. There's a link in the description to join the Discord server if you're new, where you can chat to hundreds of other custom card creators around the world and talk about your custom card creations. That'll be all for me, and I'll see you next time.